All right. Uh-oh, we lost her. Uh-oh.
We might have. Let's.
That's not good.
We'll go do your. You could do your hello, everybody.
Hi,
There's nothing
everybody.
wrong.
Right. Nothing wrong at all today. We're just doing our thing. We do have a guest. She's coming. She was here, I promise. Anyway, I'm John. This is Tim. And we are your Toddcast hosts. While everybody kind of gets into the chat and we wait for Maria to kick back on, we will just do a little bit of news. So thanks everybody who came out to the Ohio Valley anniversary sale. It was awesome sauce. And we have cranberries coming up the first Saturday of February. After that, we have Free Graphic Novel Day on the first Saturday of March. That's pretty much it. You're gonna see a lot of convention promotion probably starting up soon. I just confirmed today Tom Scioli, so that's cool. Like officially confirmed. And hopefully next week I have some more news for you guys, but that depends on if Todd can actually meet with me or not, because too busy for his own company, which whatever happens, I guess. So love the dude, but dude, I need 10 minutes. Come on.
He's the king of an empire,
right? I feel, part of me feels like what the hell is his name? The prince in Robin Hood, and he's like King Richard, like he went away, except that like I don't have like the crazy sheriff. I don't have all these. I'm not like collecting mega taxes like from everybody. I don't have a Robin Hood trying to come after me. Like, but I guess we will see how this goes.
Well, while we're waiting, everybody, hopefully she'll be able to get back in. This is comic artist Maria Wolff is who's going to be joining us. She's done some amazing covers for Marvel and for DC. She's done some.
Here we go. Hold on, wait. You can restart your.
I will restart.
You can restart your.
That's
your introduction of her.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, hello. I'm so sorry. I told you I was bad with technology. I was like, oh.
That's all right.
You're not the first guest.
There we go.
We had Ron Friends on here like a month or two ago, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll do it for my studio, and the internet in his studio sucked, so halfway through he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go home. I'll be there I'll be there in like 5 minutes. So we had to like kill 5 minutes till he got home. So we totally get it. Tim was actually just introducing you.
Great.
Yes.
So we're like, well, wait, Tim will tell you who's coming on. So
I was just kind of getting your name out there, letting everybody know who you were, and some of the awesome artwork that you've done. You've done some covers for Marvel and DC, and you've done some really cool commission work that there was one I really wanted to show everybody because we're Pittsburghers. So I wanted to show everybody this Mac Miller commission
that
you did.
That's awesome.
So
I'm almost done with it too. So that's going to be nice.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So,
well, thank you.
But we're really excited to have you on, and we've had a couple different artists on that do different things, and some writers, and kind of excited to get perspective from you do mostly covers, right?
Yes, covers, illustrations, commissions.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done some interior work, but it's getting to the point where I'm like, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. It pays the most, of course, but it's really hard when people are like, well, I need a page a week right? And I'm like, well, I could get a cover and I could take my time and spend like a whole month on it and be like, as detailed as I want to be, and not have to be rushed to get it done, you know?
I feel with your style too, doing like interiors would be like, like it would either be just driving you mad or just like it would be so busy that it may not be something that you want to do all the time, because you don't leave a lot of negative space. You use the whole space. So like I didn't want that to sound like in the negative. I want
I think
because I was like I don't know if you read like Tom Scioli's fantastic 4 grand design, but he put like 18 panels per page and it was like filled with words, and it was so busy that it was just hard to keep track. So and keep the interest and the momentum. So I feel like it would be like art overload.
And that's the issue, like, because a lot of people tell me, like, well, where are your interiors? Don't you want to do interiors? Don't you want to do comic book pages? And I said, I always feel like I'm gonna be like, one of my biggest heroes is Joe Mad, right? And the reason why Joe Mad stopped doing so many comics is because you see his pages are literally detail after detail after detail. And he takes his sweet time. I don't know what contract he has with Marvel or DC, but he'll take, months just to get one issue or graphic novel done. And they're all fine with that, but that's because he's really famous for his art style. And I said, right. So it's Joe Mad.
He's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh, he's one of my favorites too. I freaking love Joe Mad. That's probably one of the reasons I'm in comics is because of Joe Mad. That and Humberto Ramos too.
And Battle Chasers is coming back.
Oh, you don't know how excited. The only sad thing I'm with Battle Chasers is that, like I said, he's a very busy man. So he has other artists also working on it. So it's not, the thing about that is that, a lot of people can mimic a style, but it doesn't have the same oomph, the feeling of like the original artist has for it. Yeah. So, I'm excited. I can't wait. The story's gonna continue. It's not on the cliffhanger no more, but that's right. So interior work, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I want to keep practicing it on more because I want to do better on my perspective and get more different shots and get more into. Because I'm trying to do my own comic book, so I gotta keep doing comics. I can't be doing comic covers for the rest of my life, though I love it. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that the purpose of a comic cover is to be artistic and to catch your eye. Because every Wednesday there's like 100 comics that are released. Yeah. And you have to be that one comic that catches, everybody's eye. You sell the most. So I'm really glad Marvel trusts me and, they give me the a little freedom to like mess with the characters' designs, do it in my own way, put my own style to it. And it's been doing great. Everybody's been buying them. They love the style of it. It's something new. They
put you on a few of the like higher price books. Here's 2 of the covers that I really love. So Women of Marvel, this is fantastic. I'm a huge Magic fan.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it.
And the other one was Marvel Voices, which I thought this is just wicked. That was freaking killer. But those are like $6, $10 and $6 books. So that's when you're talking about $3 covers, maybe you're buying 2 or 3. So, but when you're doing a $9 cover, it's got to be fantastic and stand out. And these ones definitely do. And I bought several of different covers because I can't help myself.
Right. But, well, it's that Magic cover. I was so happy I got her. They gave me a list. So they gave me like a bunch of lists of female characters. And my second choice was, my first choice was She-Hulk. I so badly wanted a She-Hulk comic, so badly. But they had somebody doing her already. I was like, damn it. And then Magic came out. And even my editor, she told me, it's like, you know what? With your style, and you have like a very heavy metal kind of like tattoo style, I think you're going to be great with Magic. And so I said, okay, let's go. I mean, I've read a few comics with Magic. I knew a little bit about her. And the more I got to like read more and research her, I was like, oh man, she fights demons. At one point, she was like the queen of the underworld. Hell yeah, I can do this. And and I even with my editor too, because I was talking to her, I told her, I was like, I want to make this cover. One, it's my first Marvel cover. So, you know, you got to go big on your first cover like that, especially with the industry like that. So, what's it called? First impressions, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely I went with it. I put a bunch of monsters. There's a werewolf in there because I go by the nickname Wolff. So I had to throw a werewolf in there. And like, I love monsters. So I just went all into that cover. But what really brought that cover out was when Mike Spicer colored it. Oh my God. That was, and that's Daniel Warren's buddy. That's his colorist.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I knew Daniel Warren. And when I found out who his colorist was, and then my editor's like, yeah, we're going to get Mike Spicer to color. I was like, oh, Mike Spicer? I said, you're going to give me Daniel Warren's colorist? Damn straight, give him me. And from that point, every cover I've done, I always put Mike Spicer in it. I told Mike Spicer, I told him, even in my emails, I told him, you do good by me, Mike, I will always do good by you. I will always give you every job. So whenever they ask for a colorist, I'm always going to ask that you color it. And so, yeah. Though I'm horrible because I give it to him like 2 days before the deadline. I'm like, okay, Mike, you got this, right? He's like, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to be late. There's even one time they're like, in one day, can you color this in one day? Just go at it. And Mike's like, I got you. And it turned out really well.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's really good at what he does. I mean, we even have a I made the nickname because I go by Wolff and his Spicer, so I'm like, we're Team Wolff Spice. I was like, all right, that's right.
Nice.
Team Wolff Spice. We do everything. Hire us. You want both of us. So, but
I'd wear
he's a
that
great
cologne.
actor. Right.
Wolff Spice.
It's
or like, you know, that's a spicy Wolfie cover.
There you go.
Spicy Wolff cover.
It's so spicy. So Wolff,
I think it's
so spicy.
interesting that you guys have the same colors, because I was talking to the other Tim that I work with, and we were talking about your style, and we're like, it feels like a little bit of Daniel Warren Johnson, but like meets James Stoke. That was kind of how I see it. There's like, it's very busy. It's got a lot of that motion and the power to it, but then there's a lot of heavy detail in it, like James Stokes would put in there. So I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I kind of feel it's like if Frank Quietly tried to do J.H. Williams III, because like you have that Frank Quietly style look to it, but Williams puts like all kinds of crazy shit in the background, especially in like his big splash panels he does. But like I dig it so hard because I love both those guys, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Thank you. And always every time I go to conventions and everybody tries to compare me to another artist, I'm just like, hey, whatever works as long as you remember my art.
Yep.
That's how I see it. But I'm really glad, like, or when I go, or every time people come up and they're like, oh, this is something new, something unique, you know, something different. It's just different. And that's good. That means that I'm my own thing. And that's why I go by the name Wolff too, because I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna go into this industry with just like a simple badass nickname, and it's just been working out like that. So it's great. It's like
awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
do you have a lot of conventions lined up this year?
Well, this year I'm not doing any conventions, just because of the whole COVID thing. So I didn't think it was that bad until I got it, and I was like, I'm dying. And I was like, never again. Well, no, I think I'm gonna do it next year for sure. I did get invitations to do it this year and some like VIP tables, but at the time I was just like, I literally would go to the convention with nothing on, no merchandise. It'd just be like, yeah, I'm signing all day.
I know a lot of guys that do that.
You're right, and I'm just like, nah. I really want to like start taking all the money that I'm getting from my covers and my commissions, start putting it into like merchandise, do a website, really get into like doing a business again. Because I used to, because I was in hiatus for about 2 years. So everything just depleted. Even my business cards were gone. That's how bad. I had like zero, nothing. And you have to put money into making money. So right now I'm just like trying to build it up so that when I go into a convention, I'll be like, you know, here you go. Buy one, get one free. Here's like pins, here's stickers, you know, the whole thing. Especially because people like a lot of personal stuff. because they like to show it off a lot more now.
Mhm.
So stickers are usually a big thing, and pins and buttons and charms. So yeah, there
That's
you go.
Now,
Well, the reason we mention is because we run our own convention, and
Really now? Hey.
first weekend of June.
We'll see.
Maybe by the end of this, if we don't like somehow like completely fail at our job here, then we'll talk about maybe.
Well, I'm up for it. You know, I do small conventions, big conventions. If I get invited, I'm happy to show face. You know.
Yeah, we're like a medium size. We get like we had like 3,000 our last show, and this is our first year moving it to the actual convention center in downtown Pittsburgh. So
yeah, it's a big one because it's our 5th one. So
no, it's actually our 7th one.
I mean, I'm talking about like you're counting those outdoor ones, right?
I am
This is
counting the
5th.
outdoor ones.
Yeah, I'm talking about this is our 5th, like actual like
actual
yes,
inside one. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
yeah.
Well, you know, I'm not saying nothing, but if I do get an email, you know, wink, wink. No.
Well, I guess my question would be where are you located?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not that far. Hell yeah.
No.
So
Trust me, and I travel through cars, so I've driven
it's like
30 plus hours. It's nothing.
It's like about a 12-hour drive. It's not that bad. I've done it. I've gone to C2E2 a bunch of times.
Oh, there you go. You see. Actually, recently I drove one of my best friends. I helped her move. I drove 30 plus hours to Seattle from Chicago. All the way in Seattle. You want to know the funny thing about this? And she took a Penske truck. She signed for Penske.
Yeah.
And I'm a driver because she can't drive because she's narcoleptic, so she can't.
Oh, yeah, that'd be bad.
So she gave me the Penske. Well, she rented out the Penske truck, and it's like a big giant 12-footer, 14-foot. It's huge. And I drove it, took it all the way, went past Montana, North Dakota, I think, Wyoming. And by the end of it, we finally get to Seattle. And I told her, I'm going to kill you. And then afterwards, when we were done, I told her, you want to know the funny thing? She's like, what? I've never driven that type of car.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just took a giant Penske truck and I risked it. I said, if I flip over, I flip over.
Oh, I drove a 22-foot Penske truck from Pittsburgh to Jersey one time. And you go through Scranton, like up through the real steep mountains. Mm-hmm. And we bought 2 comic collections that like it was probably 2 feet high the entire way across. We wanted to make sure we had enough, like something to haul it. And we're coming back over the mountains and I'm flooring it. And we are going like 15 up the hill. Like that's how much weight was in the truck. It was awful.
Oh, so, man.
Yeah. Penske trucks. We're bros now.
There you go, right? You know, and it's funny because when we came back to the plane, I'm like, I'm gonna apply for my CDC license now. I can drive a truck.
CDL.
CDL. There you go.
Yeah.
So
the CDC license might be a little bit crazier.
No, yeah, it was a fun experience, you know. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm tiny. I'm 4'10", so I had to climb up on this truck. So you literally see me hopping on it and hopping down, and you just see me like pulling this and going like this throughout the whole. I even had a pillow to lift me up because I was so short.
Oh wow!
It was a great experience. Would I do it
again?
Driving's
a lot more fun. I enjoy driving more than flying. So
yeah, I like it. I like to see the view. I mean, for my dad used to take us all the way to like Florida, New York, and we did a lot of road trips. So that's why I was so used to driving. You know. Like nothing. Yeah, I like it. It's you build stories from it.
Yeah, right. I feel like I'm in control too. Like, oh, this plane's going down. It's not my fault. No one's gonna know that though.
Right. No, we had a lot of Delhi stories.
Gorgeous.
That's what happened though. So after we came back from Seattle, we took a plane to Chicago. Literally 30 minutes before we land, we're like, okay, cool. We're finally gonna. And then the plane starts having turbulence.
And you're like, Alanis was so right.
there's turbulence. It's cloudy. There's lightning. The plane is shaking, and I'm like, oh, I'd be damned if I die this way. I swear.
Yeah.
30
It's like a
minutes
Twilight
starts to
Zone
hit.
episode.
That's what I thought. I was like, and I'm
Gremlins
like,
on the wings. Gremlins on the wings.
well, I'm squeezing my sister's hand, and in my head, the things that are going through my head, I'm like, damn, I didn't even finish that cover or that commission. No. I'm thinking about work. I was like, oh no, who's gonna finish that now? But yeah,
Awesome.
it was crazy.
Now, do you do who was your first I guess breakthrough cover with, and are you strictly working with like one publisher over another right now, or just open?
Well, I'm open, so I get everybody. My first cover was with Mark. He did by the Horns.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So he's the one who hired me to do my first ever variant cover. This is when I came out of my hiatus. So I was barely like, okay, I'm back, guys. I'm going to start building up my audience again. And he hired me. He's like, hey, I'm doing a comic book called By the Horns. And can you do a cover for me? And I was like, oh, 100%. 100%. It's because he's a really big heavy metal man too. I was like, I'm going to make this like really, really wicked, really nice for you. And I did. And he loved it. He bought the cover too. And from that moment, everything I'm really just from that moment, everything just went up for me, like boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome.
I started getting commissions, work, but the one that sold me the most, of course, was the Marvel cover. Once I did that cover, everybody was just like, we gotta have you to do a cover. And every time I get a cover and they want like really cool like details, they always reference my first cover. So they're like, yeah, can you do it like that Magic cover? Super detailed and like everything. And I look at them, I was like, okay, I see what you want, That's why that Bloodstone kind of looks like my first cover in a sense, because that's what the editor wants.
Cover.
Oh, thank you.
Love that.
Somebody bought the cover too, so I was happy with that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, this David Nakayama cover is amazing. And then I saw your cover and I'm like, which one am I choosing? And I ended up picking your cover. Well, I started cutting back because my wife's like, this is getting out of hand. So so I ended up picking yours.
Oh no, that's an honor for me. But
here's some I grabbed some other images I can show everybody. Let's see.
Yeah, I wish I could show you more, but it's just like Marvel has me on the hush hush. I can't say a lot. Can't show them. I could talk about them. I just can't show them. So
yeah.
Oh, I love this cover. This was one of my favorites too.
This one here, or
yeah, the DC. That was my first DC cover. That I'm really proud of too.
It's pretty wicked. I really liked this cover. I thought this was fantastic.
No, a lot of you know what and what because originally I was supposed to do 6 covers with Marvel on the indigenous voices. They were gonna have 6 covers for me. But it got to a point where I was getting so overcrowded with work. Because here's the thing about, I could draw really fast. And I could do a cover pretty fast too. So Marvel just kept throwing covers at me. They're just like, here, do this one, do that one. And it got so bad, or I was getting so behind that they had to even send somebody from Marvel to like watch my work and my progress. And to always give me like reminder deadlines. So I always get like an email from somebody like, yeah, you got this cover due in like 2 weeks. Can we see the progress of that? I was like, oh, you damn.
Here's a blank page. I mean, what?
No. Whenever they message me right away, I'm making a cover. I'm like, yeah, I'm working on it right now.
Right. I really love this one. This one's really good.
This one's fantastic.
That's one of my favorites. I am a big fan of Thunderbird. I mean, granted, he dies in like the first issue, but
well, he's coming back.
Yeah, I saw the new design from him. It's looking pretty good. I mean, when they gave me a Thunderbird right away, I was like, oh no, Thunderbird is like a big grappler kind of character. He has to be like massive and like because he looks like he could just punch your face and there's a hole in it,
Yep.
Yeah. No, this one was fantastic. I'm a big X-Men fan too, so this one was a lot of fun for me. Let's see. This one was great too. This is from Reptile.
Yeah, Reptile. That was, and it's funny. I'm a big dinosaur fan as well. Jurassic Park, of course. originally wanted to be a paleontologist, not a comic book artist.
Oh,
So, yeah. Well, first it was an archaeologist, and then I found out, no, you want to do dinosaurs, you got to be a paleontologist. So I was like, oh, okay. But then the question came to me when I was a kid: would I play God? Yes, I would.
yes, absolutely.
And I would bring back dinosaurs, and I would go through the whole scenario where they're loose and everybody's getting mauled by them. So
That's
yeah.
like the best way to die.
Right,
Like,
as my own creation, it's killed me.
yeah. Oh, how'd you die? Oh, I had a heart attack. How'd you die? Oh, I got eaten by a triceratops.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Dude, they're herbivores. Unless you're Swamp Thing or Man Thing.
Listen,
that
if
ain't
I'm the only
happening.
thing around, they're going to eat me. What if I had broccoli in my hand? You don't know.
Exactly.
Now, if you were
Next
like,
Jimmy.
I got eaten by Velocipastor, that'd be different.
Yeah.
So,
This is the cover. So yeah, this is
oh yeah,
my first cover that I got, and Mark gave it to me, and I put everything to it, and because at the time too, like when I had my 2-year hiatus, I was super depressed. I couldn't do artwork. So the moment I came back, I felt like a phoenix coming back from the ashes, and I was like, "Don't worry, Mark, I'm gonna make you the best cover I've ever done in my entire life." And yeah, and and his colorist did a great job. It has like that neon black light kind of look to it. So
yeah,
very
that's
eye popping. So
yeah, reminds me of like blacklight posters you'd buy in like the 90s and early 2000s. Like I'd have this hanging on my dorm room like wall somewhere, you know.
I keep telling him to do. I told him to make a poster. People would buy it.
Oh yeah, they would.
Poster. Oh, put a black light over it. I was like, he was trying to get for the glow in the dark effect too, but at the time they were gonna print it out, so I was like, darn it. But one of my favorite covers too.
I think the thing that you do really well too is that a lot of people that try to do like the heavy detail, the chaotic kind of like look, it's very hard to follow some of this, like where the images are and stuff. But like there's a lot of design in it and detail, but I can see everything when I look at every piece. Like I know what's what, and I think that's what you do really well. Is like you find a way to get the detail in, but without overshadowing any of the other detail. So
and keeping the point of focus still the point of focus.
Yeah,
which is really probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. That is very true, and that's why I was surprised when I started doing covers, and it was just covers for me are just like natural, because I'm really big into like illustration and character design. So every time I get a cover, and I just put my whole self into it. I put all the detail. Because I really put myself as the viewer too, because I'm like, I always think to myself, okay, it's Wednesday, new comic books are out. I'm walking into the shop. What's gonna catch my eye?
Would I buy this?
Would I buy it? And that's literally it. And I think that's why all my covers have been doing so well, because they're always very eye-catching. And if you look, all my characters have like a very intense like face, and they're always like looking at you like
yeah.
So you get drawn
like,
in.
Yo,
you're
take
like,
me home.
You're like, you want to buy me, you want to add me to your collection, so that's that's why I try to make my covers fun and like interesting. One of my buddies told me, he's like, you give it a very nostalgic vibe too. You give it like a very 90s vibe, because it's very like grungy and it's very tattooy like. And I was like, oh, that's cool. People describe my art any way they want. I'm just like, as long as I can convince you to buy it, I'm doing my job perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's even kind of got like a little dash of like Bill Sienkiewicz in there too, which is real cool. So, in my opinion,
you know what? To me, when it comes to my art, I never put like my art on the pedestal. I always say it's the colorist, no matter what. Whenever somebody says, "Oh, like man,
they fixed all my crap," it's okay.
I was like, "This looks great." I was like, "That's not me. That's the colorist. They made it 100% even better. I just did the line art. They brought that thing to life, Yeah,
we've actually talked about that with a couple artists. Like we were talking about JRJR, right? John Reed
Right.
Jr. And like certain books he does look awful, but certain books he does look amazing if he has the right colorist. And like, because he draws so flat that if the colorist doesn't give it some depth, it doesn't work. And it just falls like for a lot of us.
Right.
So, but yeah, so it's definitely a team thing. And I think,
Oh,
the spicy wolf just needs to
there we go.
needs to stay
Ooh,
happening,
I'll tell Mike that. We're called Spicy Wolf now.
The Spicy Wolf. Well,
sounds like
a
seasoning you put on ramen. Spicy Wolf, just to add that.
Oh, I'm gonna add some Spicy Wolf.
Right.
So, Tim was saying in the chat that someone should make it into a cologne or a perfume, and I thought that was
so too. I think it'd be nice. My own. I could design it too. I could put the label design, and there.
It sounds like it definitely sounds like something either head. Old Spice or Axe would make.
Right. That's how you
spray on
needs.
Some Spicy Wolf tonight. Yeah,
all over.
I'm going out to pray.
You see, it's that manly musk. It's gonna be like, that's man right there.
Yep.
I feel like every woman's gonna be by there, be like, "Ooh, I can smell a man in here." You're like, "Damn straight you can."
Yep, absolutely.
No, I'm really like, and you're right. It's hard to find a colorist, and it's even harder to find a colorist who understands your artwork.
Yeah,
it really is. So when Mike did, I was so surprised Mike could see all the little details, because most people can't. It's the difference between me drawing it and I could see every little detail. And then a colorist coloring it and see the same detail I could see too.
Right. And
he's really cool about it too. Like, I'm very nitpicky too. Sorry if you see my dog. He's just walking around.
That's all right.
Oh, good. Mine's literally laying behind me. So one of my two is. So.
Well, my dog has dementia. He's 17 years old. So he just wanders. So you'll just see him like, he doesn't know where he is. The joke we have is that every time he'll walk into a wall and he'll just look like, where am I? Who are you? What am I?
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a mini schnauzer.
No, okay.
Best dogs around. I love him. It's like
nice.
I always say that when he goes, I know I'm gonna open up a credit card and get him one right away.
We just lost. We had two Boston Terriers, and we just lost one that was 14 a couple months ago. And like a week later, my wife was like, "Nope, need to get another one." So within. It was like max 15 days, like in between. I'm like, "Are you sure you don't want to wait till after Christmas? Just like wait till they get to the holiday."
No,
nope, need one now.
It's empty here. I could just feel the emptiness. Right? That's how I am.
Yeah. So we got a Frenchie, and he's totally nuts, and he's like 4 months old right now. It's crazy.
And they're so expensive, though. I mean, when we had him 17 years ago, my dad was like, "Oh, I only paid like $300," right. And then now they're like $3,000. I'm like, hey, $35,000.
And then Tim's got a dog too.
Yeah, I got
what dog do you have?
He's a golden lab. So he's a mix. His name's Link, and we're big Zelda fans. So.
Oh, nice! I did a Zelda commission. What was it? About 2 years ago. Versus.
Nice.
God, I wish I could find. I gotta look for it too. But that was one of my favorites. God, I don't have it in a file. Did I?
I think I saw it on your Twitter at one point.
Yeah, I think I did show it. It was him fighting Ganondorf, and I was like,
"Yep,
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Ganondorf, so I was just I like villains. I'm a big villain fan. So I always like in any video game or comics or even movies, the villains that have no sympathy. They're just like, I'm just here to kill because I don't care."
Now I'm looking for it because I want to see it.
You want to see it? Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. All right, so while he looks for that, I guess we can do your origin story.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna talk about my villain origin story. So this is what I'm here.
yeah. So it's how it's like kind of like your backstory, but like if you want to talk a little bit how you grew up, where you grew up, whatever, and then into how you got into comics, and then we kind of covered the big break, but we haven't really covered how you got up to that point.
All right, so let's talk. Well, my parents always told me that when I was 2 years old, I was already drawing. So I've been drawing since I was 2. When I mean, growing up, coloring, drawing Goku, Dragon Ball Z, anime was big around my time. It's starting the mainstream of it too. And even comic books too. My dad is a big nerd of Star Wars and Marvel and DC, more DC than anything. And it's funny because if you talk to him, he'll talk when he sees those TV shows like people with their displays like mine, he'll go and be like, nerds. And I'm like looking at him like, you have a man cave full of figurines, and you have like, he has an original Miss Pac-Man arcade system.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
So, and that's why I'm just like, who are you calling nerd?
You sure it isn't him just kind of being like, I smell my own.
I know, like, I smell nerd in this room. So, you know, and then, right. So I grew up, my dad was a big nerd. My mom was too. My mom was a big Wonder Woman fan, big movie fanatics too. So I grew up with a lot of like pop culture, a lot of media everywhere. And I would draw, and I wanted to keep. See, the thing about it though is that when I was really young, everybody draws, every child draws, but it's really about the passionate part of it. Are you going to continue drawing, or are you going to be like, it's just a hobby, I just do it here for fun, right? I took it as a passionate thing because I kept drawing throughout all of grammar school to high school. Originally, though, I did not want to be an artist. I wanted to be a veterinarian, or I wanted to be, like, once again, a paleontologist, until I got into high school. And I remember my junior or senior year, somewhere around there, this is, when you start talking about what career you want to do in your life, right? And I sat down and I said to myself, well, what do I really want to do? And originally, I wanted to be a character designer for video games. I really, really enjoyed drawing character designs. That's why every cover you notice, every like Marvel character, they're tweaked a little bit because I want to design them a little bit more differently. So, yeah. And I mean, that's why Magic, if you look at her, I wanted to give her like that really cool dragon armor. Like her legs have like giant armor, her hands have giant armor. I wanted to go all armor like with her. I wanted to be like massive knight. Even Thunderbird. Oh my god, hello! You're so cute.
This is the puppy. This is Marshall. My goodness. All 25 pounds of him. He's crazy.
Sounds about right. No, yeah. So then one day, and I used to go to conventions. My dad also introduced me into conventions. I went to Wizard World. That was my first convention. My dad took me, and my eyes just went, like a little kid at a candy store. I saw all these booths, and I was like, ooh, ooh. and I was super excited. And then every year from that, my dad stopped taking me to the conventions because they're so expensive, and my dad was cheap. But every time I would save my Christmas money, my birthday money, and I'd buy a ticket once a year. And I'd take a train all the way to Wizard World. And I would do it every year because I was really getting into conventions. And that's where I also met Jill Thompson at one point. I met a couple other artists too. And one day they had this booth becoming a video game designer. And I was like, okay. I looked up how to become a video game designer. And I was really into playing the orange box on the PS3. I don't know if you guys played it with TF2 and, Half-Life. And I remember I grabbed that little box, and inside there was a pamphlet that says now hiring, character designers. And I went online and I looked up what you had to do to be a character designer or their applications. And one things it said was, you must be able to draw in different styles. And so from that day, I started drawing cartoon characters, and I started getting more like trying to develop a style and do different things because that's the world I wanted to go to. But then reality hit. And then when you find out how much college is and how much, video game college is and art college, and my parents, didn't have a lot of money. And so realistically, they had to tell me, like, we can't even afford those colleges, or we can't even afford to help you. So, in the end, I was the only one who didn't get to go to the art colleges. So then I went through my emo phase. I was like, I don't need school. I don't need any of this. I could do this on my own, right? I was a very angsty teen. And I started doing like little random jobs here and there. But what really got to me was once I hit 22, everybody from my class had started graduating, and they started getting their diplomas, they started getting their associates and their bachelors. I remember one time I was so disappointed in that Like I was still drawing too, and I was still trying to do art on my own. And one day, Anthony Kosar, which is a really good famous artist in Chicago, he does a lot of like FX. So I think he did Face Off. If anybody's seen that show, he was the winner. I think season 3 or season 4, he was the winner. And I would follow him on Facebook. But one day he posted, "Hey, this new school is opening up. You should go look up to it." He told everybody who was following him. And I'm a big person of doing the leap of faith. So I truly believe like, yeah, take the risk. You got to jump, just go, because you never know what can happen. And I'm glad I made that decision. I really am. So I took the leap of faith. I right away called that school. I said it was the International School of Comics. They were brand new in Chicago. They're really known more in Europe and in France too. So they have like really big schools over there, and they put a lot of money into them. So, and you've seen European artists, they're like really hardcore on their comic books. They're very disciplined, right? So they were bringing, and I think they have one in California or New York, I forgot, but they brought one to Chicago. And right away, they showed me around the school. They were showing me around, and Jill Thompson was there because she was one of the teachers there. And I had already met Jill Thompson through the conventions, and I would talk to her. And one day she was doing my interview, my portfolio interview. And I went in there, and Jill Thompson starts opening my portfolio, her eyes just get really wide. And she's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "You know what? I really wanted to be a character design, but I really like designing characters, designing worlds. I really want to tell my story. That was it. I want to show people my work, my art." And if the school wasn't the proof to keep continuing what I want to do, Jill Thompson bought my first art piece. Nobody's ever bought my artwork.
What?
Jill Thompson.
That's awesome.
Jill Thompson saw this like fox, a kitsune drawing, and she bought it from me. She gave me my first paycheck too. I remember I took a picture of that paycheck. I took a scan. I was like, "Oh my God, Jill Thompson bought artwork from me."
That's awesome.
She told me, she's like, "I hope you come to this school. I think you have a future in comic books." And so I did it. I remember I signed the papers. I said, "Let's go." The school had its price. I was like, I don't care if I got to work full time. I don't care if I got to do 2 jobs. I'm going to make this happen. I'm tired of being tired. So yeah, the next day I had on my dad was so upset because at the time my dad didn't want me to be an artist because my dad was an artist himself too. But he used to think I was going to be with the bad crowd. See, my dad is from the 70s and 80s. So he's thinking that I'm going to be one of those like, "Yeah, man, society, man, let's just go." He thought I was going to do all these crazy things like all his other art buddies, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm trying to be a comic book artist. I'm also going to be sitting on a table. I'm not going to be like one of your painter buddies, okay? Who's like, "Yeah, I can't pay rent this week, but we'll figure it." A starving artist. And that's
Right.
every parent. Every parent gets scared with the idea of like, how's my child going to survive in the future, right? And art is a scary career to go into. You have to be really passionate and really, blood, sweat, and tears. You got to get thick skin. You can't quit. You just can't quit as much as you want. As much as it breaks you, you just can't quit. And my dad was so scared for me. And the school was for 3 years. And I remember every year my dad would tell me, like, "You don't need the school. You don't need this school. You don't need this school. You could do it on your own," which I'm great. I'm glad my dad thought I was so artistic that I could do it on my own, right? But realistically, I did need the school because, granted, I could have probably succeeded on my own. But the school helped me because it helped me in a business sense. It showed me how to like properly sell myself, how to properly like build a portfolio. And just all these things happen. But here's the cool thing about the school. So after my first year of the school, I told myself, let's see if I'm really going to succeed in this career. Because I had to constantly keep proving to myself that I was going to keep succeeding. So I went with a classmate. We went to Wizard World. I bought my first table, or we shared half of it. I brought my artwork in. And most people tell you on Thursday, you don't sell a lot. On Thursday, I did sell a lot. People were buying my original paintings, people from tattoo shops, people who, right.
That's
So
awesome.
So my eyes started opening even more. I was like, and by the end of it, after Sunday, I had sold all my prints or a majority stickers. I got back the money I put into it. So in truth, I didn't waste no money because it got back for my stuff, right? So
yeah, as long as you covered your booth.
right. So I was so excited because Wizard World is like the second biggest in Chicago. So I was like, wow, I succeeded in Wizard World, and it's barely my first year finishing school. And then my second year, but here's the best part. So on my second year, so I told you my two biggest favorite artists is Joe Mad and Humberto Ramos, right? Mm-hmm. Jill Thompson is a big, Jill Thompson knows Humberto Ramos, they're good friends. And when I went to the convention, I told her, oh, look, Humberto Ramos is there. I want to go talk to him, but I'm a little nervous. And she goes and she tells me, tell him that I sent you and he'll talk to you. I was like, okay, right? So then I'm at C2E2. This was at C2E2. So I go to C2E2 and Humberto Ramos, there's nobody by his table, which I'm surprised because he's a really famous artist. But luckily I caught him like when the C2E2 was almost closing for the night. So I go by him and I tell him, oh man, I'm your biggest fan. I'm literally shaking. I'm like, I'm so nervous too. And it was the time he's like, it's so cold here because, he's from Mexico. And he's like, I'd rather be in the hot weather right now. And so I give him my portfolio. I told him, hey, Jill Thompson sent me, wink, wink. So I was just throwing her name in there, like, Jill Thompson sent me. She said you need to look at my portfolio. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm friends with Jill. Yeah, I'll look at your portfolio. I was like, yes. So the one thing in conventions, so when you have professional artists, I don't know if you notice, if you see them looking at other people's portfolio, I call it the stare or the stare of judgment, because what they do, they put their hands like this.
Yep.
They go like this, and they look down at your portfolio because they're gonna get ready to give you, all the judgment. They're gonna critique your work, but they have like the best poker face because they're just really like stern, like, let's go, I'm gonna say something. But I knew I picked the right decision and the right career, because the moment I opened up my portfolio, Humberto's eyes that were like this went like that. They just started opening up wider.
Yeah.
And he just started going through every page and looking through everything and every detail. And he did critique. And here's the fun part. As he's critiquing my work, people start coming behind me. So more people are looking now at my portfolio, and more people are just looking and they're trying to hear Humberto, and they're trying to hear what he's trying to critique. And now there's like about a good 12 people around me. And I'm just this one person. And Humberto's just going through every page, pointing out what he likes, pointing out what I should change, right? And he said, he's like, you're not doing comics right now? And he's like, where's your interiors? I'm like, I'm still pushing myself to get into that field. And then he told me, you have a good future at Marvel if you really push yourself. I want you to fix this, and I want you to do this. And I want you to get a table here at C2E2 and really push yourself. So I was really excited. So here's the fun part though. So right when I'm about to close my portfolio, this guy comes behind Humberto, and then he starts talking to him. And then he tells him, I think it was his agent, because he's like, hey, you got to go here. You got to go sign this right now. So, and he had a suit. And Humberto goes, hey, come here. I need you to see her portfolio. And I was like, so then the agent comes in and he starts going through the pages, and he's really amazed too. And he goes and he says, he's like, have you done any work for anybody? I'm like, no, not yet. I'm just barely getting to it. He gives me his business card and he tells me, when you're ready, come to the booth in Marvel and try to look for me, and we'll set something up. We'll see where you are, and we'll see what we can give you. And it was like, you have a bright future. And I was like, woo, woo. So that happened. And everybody who was behind me starts like going like, yeah. Like, yeah, right? And
That's
awesome. One guy grabs my shoulder. He's like, you did it. And I'm just, my heart is just full of butterflies right now. I'm grabbing my portfolio and I'm saying, thank you so much. And I'm walking out C2E2. I'm like, yeah, I picked the right career. And
That's
you
awesome.
know what? That was literally the sign to just keep pursuing it. keep doing it. Now, what happened was because I also talked about in my podcast too, like, you're going to go through your ups and downs. So after my 3 years of school, I had a lot of debt, like everybody develops, debt, house debt, whatever, like hospital debt, just debt on top of debt, credit card debt. And the last C2E2 show I did, I made a lot of money. But what was so sad is that after I made all that money, in the end, it never came to my pocket. It went straight to go pay off all the debt, right?
Oh.
So all that hard work was, gone.
Yeah.
So I remember that after I graduated, I told myself, from this day, I will not work on any artwork until I pay off this debt. Because I felt like I was getting cheated on, because the debt collectors, you know how they are. They're just like, where's our money? I could care less if you're not working. Where is our money? And I didn't want to go through that hardship no more, because I felt it was so unfair, because it took a lot to get to that point, and to have somebody say, now we're going to take it away from you. I was like, no. So that's where my 2-year hiatus came. I went to work in a regular retail job. I remember when I first started there, I said, I can't wait till I quit. And, people are like, what are you talking about? You get 401k, you get benefits. Why would you want to leave a job like this? And I remember I looked at everybody. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be like any of you. You don't understand. I have a life, a career. And it's like, I'm not supposed to be working here. And they're like, and it's funny. I always like to tell people I'm an artist, because people always assume like, oh, you paint, you draw a little bit. Yeah, you do your little sketches. Yeah, you're a little artist, right? And one day I was in our lunch break, because I was working on a commission. And I remember a couple of people came back, oh, damn, you can draw? I was like, I'm legit. I was like, what, did you think I was lying? I was like, I legit have a career. It's just I can't do it because I have to pay all these bills. So for 2 years, I every paycheck I had, boom, boom, pay a bill. Like, I was really focused. I did a lot of overtime. I didn't talk to anybody, but I got really depressed too, because I wasn't drawing. So like, it was a bad struggle. Like, I didn't want to go see nobody. I was so sad because I can't draw, because I have to focus on work, or I was so tired I can't even draw. But deep down, I still wanted to do what I want to do. So after the 2 years of a crappy retail job, I paid off all my debt. And then it got to the point where I was like, what now? What do I do, right? And then I finally, then I started doing some commissions. I started doing other work too. And then it got to the point, you know what, I'm just going to quit my job. There's no point being here. I did what I said I wanted to do.
Yep.
And then I finally, after 2 years, nobody knew where I was. I like deactivated everything. And then 2 years, I finally said, hey guys, what's up? I'm back. And then I came back, and you know what? Once I came back, like I said, I did the one cover from Mark, and everything just went boom, 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 boom. And it got higher and higher. And, and I remember, and even the Marvel job too, one of my buddies said, hey, how'd you get that job? What do I have to do to get a Marvel? And you know what I told him? I told him, you know what? I don't even know how I got that job. It's literally out of pure luck. I just got an email. One day, somebody, my editor had saw my artwork on Twitter and Instagram. And she's like, I really like what you do. Can you do a Marvel cover for us? And at first I thought this was a scam, because I was like, Marvel ain't gonna message me. This is a lie. Somebody's gonna try to steal my artwork, right? And then my sisters were doing investigation. They were trying to look up her name and see like if she really works in the department of Marvel, right? And then they legit told me, they're like, no, yeah, she really works for Marvel. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. And then like I said, from there on, I've just been very blessed. I'm very happy for everybody who supported me, who keeps throwing out my name out there. I just don't want to keep working for Marvel or DC. I like to work with other people too, Kickstarters, band covers. I don't want to just put myself in one area. I want to be open and available for everybody, because why can't everybody enjoy my art? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And especially if my art can help people sell more comics, or, get people more interested, why not? Right. So yeah, so like I said, I do a lot. I'm very happy. What have I done? I've done Marvel, DC. I've done Scout Comics. I've done Bolt. I think I've done one Boom, and then I've done like all other ones too. So Black Masks too. So and
Nice.
then it's fun, like I said now, and it's really cool because now I'm meeting like new people. I'm getting really friendly with other artists that people didn't believe they, like Jill Thompson is a really good friend of mine. I'm not gonna lie, I have her phone number. I know where she lives.
Are you
people
are you like close enough to be like, can you just sketch me something from Sandman? Just
oh,
something.
you're right. No,
Just
that's
and just bring it over here. Just
when we were in class, she would have these. She would show us her watercolors, and she would just throw them away, right? Because they were just like a scrap of paper, and she's just throwing away like little sketches. I'm not lying to you. I ran into those trash cans. I grabbed all.
I would.
I was like, "This is a Jill Thompson sketch. No one's gonna tell me nothing." And it was really fun because, like I said, Jill Thompson. I would say Jill Thompson, Joe Mann, and Umberto Ramos have been a really big influence. And Jill's just great. I would talk to her. She's my comic book mom. I talk about her so much. I tell her, like, Jill, if it wasn't for you, I would not be in this industry. Because you're the reason why I'm here. Because you believed in me. So now, that's how we are here today. But yeah, I've done even Scary Godmother artwork. She's even commissioned me. So that's
awesome.
an honor. Right, Daniel Warren is another guy I'm getting really close with. We've been meeting here and there. He keeps telling me, "Hey, you got to come over so we can have like a draw and sketch day." And I keep showing pictures of people like, "Oh my God, look, I'm buddies Daniel Warren."
Well, listen, I know he lives near you. So if we can get both of you to come in June, you guys can just road trip the whole way.
There you go. I should tell him.
Carpool
I will
it.
drive. I will pick you up.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go. It's cool.
I'll just send Tim to Chicago to pick people up. It'll be fine. I'm pretty sure I'm sending somebody to New York to pick people up too, so it's okay.
And you know what's funny? The funny thing about meeting these famous people is that I just don't meet them. I also meet their family. I always get in a situation where I'm with their family too. So I met his wife, his child, his dad, his sister. I was like, okay, I guess I'm part of the family now.
That's awesome. You're close. You're not just friends when you've met the family.
Right. So that's it.
Right.
And then recently, what was it? Because when I showed my Bloodstone cover, Alex Ross started following me.
Nice. Another Chicago guy.
Yeah. So I saw my Twitter. He's like, "Yeah, Alex Ross." I was like, "Is that Alex Ross?" And then his agent's following me too. I was like, "Oh."
I will tell you, as someone who knows the people that work for Alex Ross, it's his agents. It's not really him because he doesn't own a cell phone. So he doesn't own a computer. All he does all day is blare heavy metal and paint. That's all he does all day long. And nothing wrong with that.
No, that's great.
Because his stuff is amazing.
Oh yeah.
But I've told a story a while ago about like when I got to meet Scott Ian and I asked him how he got Alex to do all the Anthrax covers, and it was a pretty good story. But yeah, like I would never would have known that he was a metal guy. And then Dan's a metal guy, so when we had him on, we talked music a lot because I'm a metal guy. I'm a music guy. But it's a lot of fun. And then you said metal band like cover, or you said band covers, and I'm like, I know some bands could use some cover work.
Oh yeah, I'm a big music fan. Especially in Chicago, it's a big like indie, like heavy metal. There's so many bands here. I used to go about 4 years ago. I used to go to all the bars and literally just have a sketchbook. One, I'd probably be a little tipsy, So I'm already like, oh, the music's great. But I
discount on the sketch.
I know, right? So I would open up my sketchbook and I literally would close my eyes and just sketch what I hear. So you would just see like, awesome. And I have like a sketchbook full of all the bands. I actually, because of that, a couple of bands would catch me and they're like, "Hey, can you do a t-shirt design or an album design?" Nice. And I was like, I became even really good friends with them too. I had a gallery and I invited them and they played for my gallery. So
that's awesome.
It was really, really fun. Like I'm glad I'm a very diverse artist. I just don't stay in one field. I like to do everything. I mean, I do woodcuts for, woodcuts and paintings. That's another big thing I enjoy too. I'm just
That's
very
cool.
traditional. I can't do digital. It hurts my eyes. I just, we had a digital teacher one time. He came up to me and he was showing me like how to do things in the computer. And he's like, and I told him, why do I need to learn this? And he said, well, so that you could know like the easy shortcuts and it's faster. And I remember I replied, why? When I could literally draw this and color this in under 2 hours. Instead of just doing this on the computer, it's going to take me like 5-8 hours. And I was just like, yeah, no, I mean, it's good to learn digital. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel there's like a really big misconception that a lot of people think like, oh, I need to be digital because right now, inking and drawing is not, you won't be successful in that, path. And that's not very true at all because I've been doing pencils and inking and I've been getting hired left and right, And the cool thing about it is that now my covers, because they're traditional, they're collectors out there now. So people want to collect the artwork. And now that's extra money in my pocket. So that's cool. So now I have an agent. I just this year I finally have an agent. So now he's gonna start selling all my covers and all my originals, and so that's fun. The fun part about him too is that I told him, he was talking about like my commission prices, and when I told him how much I was charging, oh man, he went crazy. He's like, how much are you charging? And I was like, yeah, I charge this and that. And I felt like he wanted to slap me across the because he's like, that's way too low. And I was just like, oh, that's not good. And he's like, no. So
that's awesome.
I'm glad that now people are seeing like my value in a sense. Like, and that's why I said it's really amazing. I can't even believe it sometimes when where I started, where I am now. And I still can't believe it. I still can't believe when people have said, yeah, I want to buy your original. I'm going to pay you this much. And I'm like, They're like, you want to, how much? What, say that again? How much? And that could pay my rent for like 3 months.
And do you have a website where people can buy your originals and stuff that you can throw out real quick?
Well, that's why. So, because everybody keeps asking me for prints and pins and stuff. I don't have a website yet, but this year I will. I'm hoping by the summertime it will be. I'm trying to look for somebody to do a website for me. Right now, you can still find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's at the Wolff Maria. But yeah, I'm gonna get that. Trust me, I'm gonna get there because I know a lot of people badly want them, and I'm just like, I just got to put some money to the side, but I will have everything up and running because I really do want to make T-shirts and start, but especially because, like I said, I'm making my own comic book, and I'm doing with my buddy Mark, and hopefully by this year too we could start writing it. So we're getting in the process of writing my first issue, so that's really exciting too.
That's awesome.
Well, I will help you make your website.
What? No way.
Yep.
I was going to wait till we were done with this and off the air to mention that, but Tim totally.
Now I get to look like a hero on the internet.
Stuff, so. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you, Tim. Just DM me. We'll talk prices and stuff. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to help you out.
No. You get trust me. Even Mark told me too. He's like, I wouldn't have charged you to write your story, but the wife, I gotta pay the bills. And I was like, oh, thank you, Mark. But I want to pay you. I feel like everybody has to be paid, what they've contributed. I'm not taking nobody's free stuff. So
okay.
So at least
your friend Zoe is watching also. Seattle Zoe's
thank
watching.
You. Great. Well, hello, Zoe. I'll see you in June.
You're owed a firstborn child for the help for moving to Seattle, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
So.
No, I tell you,
it's awesome.
It's great. I do anything for my friends, so she knows that already. I'm literally the kind of person where you're like, that's right. When she told me that day, she's like, yeah, can you move our stuff and my rabbit and my cat? And I remember I just looked at her like, okay, let's go. I was like, I got nothing to do. I'll drive a giant Penske truck 30 plus hours to Seattle. And she paid for everything, so I was just a driver. That's the cool thing also about being a comic book artist is that I don't need to be in one desk. I could take it with me on the go.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
But yes.
Yep. All right.
That's good. Do you guys have any other questions?
Oh boy, I'm trying to think. You covered it. I think you covered it.
I guess my only one would be is there a character that you haven't gotten to work on as a cover that you want to do yet?
Yes.
Like what's your like creme de la creme? Your golden goose, your pot of gold, your unicorn.
Lobo.
Yeah?
That would be an awesome.
I am a big Lobo fan. One of my buddies,
the Wolff. Duh.
Right? I just loved. I had my dad bought a bunch of comic books when I was little, and they were like the really gritty like 90s comic books. I remember, and he just bought them at the flea market, and there was like Xenomorph, Batman versus Alien. There's all the dark Batman. It was all whoever had this collection was all the dark gritty stuff. So he had
nice.
And one of them was he had a few Lobos, and I remember I was reading this as a kid. He's just shooting up people's heads and like ripping people apart, and I'm just like, wow, this is really cool. I love his bad boy like I said, I love anti-villains and I love villains. I like the idea of somebody being so gruesome that you just love to hate them, and you just love. I mean, right now, because Lobo would be my top tier. Right now, Marvel gave me Sabretooth. I love Sabretooth.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So you're are you doing a cover for the new Sabretooth book?
I believe so. I think that's what it's for. But it's just nothing. I even did the thumbnails. It's all bloody. He's like showing his fangs. I was like, oh,
nice.
I have a part where he's like, there's fire all over his face, so he's just regenerating. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be really nice. They gave me Carnage. That's why I said I love if any comic company. So for any comic company hearing me, if you have a monster or a villain and you could put it on a double spread page and it's just gonna be like super detailed, I'm happy to do that. That's why Killer Croc is also my favorite too. Like, you can just see him popping out of nowhere and he's just scales everywhere, muscles everywhere. I'm a big fan of muscles too. So I'm
nice.
Straight up. That's why I said a lot of people like my artwork because it just reminds them of the nostalgia of the 90s. Like everything's just like big and veiny and like teeth showing and blood everywhere. I was like, all
right. Maybe DC will let you do a sequel to the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas, and we'll get like paramilitary Easter.
Like I said, I love that. I hope I get more DC. Don't get me wrong, I love Marvel. Hopefully they're not listening. But I grew up with DC first before Marvel, so it's just like, I love those characters. I like Grundy. Grundy was also a really cool character too.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Fate. Ooh, I like Dr. Fate as well too. So, yeah.
I was gonna say I could see you doing like an Infinity Inc. book, like that lineup kind of lines up with your style and your attitude of characters. I think so because they're like that golden age B team.
Right. And and that's the thing too. Like I really am happy that all the covers I've been getting are characters that are B characters. So you really don't they're not the main characters. So when people come to me, they're like, I've never heard of this character, but you made them so interesting that I want to read about them. That's why White Tiger was one of them. Nobody knew really that much about her. What's another one? Bloodstone. When I went to go sign copies at Challengers, everybody who bought the comic were like, I never even heard of Bloodstone.
Yeah.
But now I'm really into it. And I'm surprised Elsa Bloodstone is not super popular because she's a monster hunter.
She should be.
That's like, and when I designed that comic, the first thing I thought of was Underworld. So like that cool, like badass vibe. You could just see her popping out with guns out of nowhere, blazing, killing everything,
Well, if she dressed a little more like Kate Beckinsale did instead of like Van Helsing, there
You
might be
see?
a different thing. You know?
But that's why you would think, because she dresses up as Van Helsing, like everybody like, oh, she's just such a badass character. But hopefully she comes out more. I like her brother too,
Yeah.
and that's why she was a new character. I didn't even know about Bloodstone. The more I got into it, I was like, oh, why are you not popular yet, right?
Yeah.
She's super sexy. You would think like, because she got that tight suit, that Long Giant raincoat, and all these guns. I mean, people love guns.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like I think the first time I ever saw her was in like a Deadpool book.
Right.
So like
That's right.
guns.
I was like, come on, that's like
Right.
yeah, that's but like I said, if the characters are aggressive, massive, just gritty, I love them. I try to put myself into every character I do, and I really try to. That's why I'm really happy too that every cover I do, people are really happy with it, because they tell me, oh, it feels like the character. Oh, you did justice for that character. You made them feel like who they are. So I was like, that really means I'm doing my job right. So because when I finish an art piece, the first thing I tell myself, does it look badass? Is it awesome? Am I gonna be like, oh yeah, this is it right here? Sometimes if the cover doesn't go right, I will redo it over and over and over until it's right. Like, and that's just like me. It's just my very like nitty gritty. Like, it cannot go out until it is perfect, right? Because I do not ever want to give anybody half-ass work. Like, even if I'm running late, and that's the thing too. Like, Marvel has been really patient with me. Like I said, I've been late like a day or two, and they're really patient because in the end they know that I'm going to give them something like really, really nice. And I'll sit on this computer. Once I'm done inking and drawing, I'll scan it and I'll clean it up in Photoshop, and I'll stay another 10 hours just to make sure that it just looks clean, that it is perfect, right? Which is really bad on my part, because I could zoom in, get the smallest little detail, clean it up, and I'm like, that's perfect. Nobody's gonna see that detail at all.
Right.
But because it's just my head, like, no, this just looks wrong. We need to fix this. But yeah, I mean, God, I just love what I do. I really do.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm really happy. Granted, paychecks, they come when they can. I gotta pay rent. I get scared sometimes, but would I ever go back to my retail job? No. Oh no. I don't have the patience for people no more. I know that if I go back, I'm gonna start yelling at people. I'll get fired. So it's like, no, it's good. It's like, I like being my own boss. I like telling myself, you have a deadline. And then, I also tell people too, when you get the job you like, it just feels good to work and get the job done. Because in retail, I could just clock in, not really do my work, and I still get a paycheck.
Right.
But when I do these jobs, when I'm a freelance artist, it feels good that I have to physically make sure that this is done on the deadline, and I get paid for it because I need to survive. Like, I can't slack off, because if I slack off, then I get in trouble. I won't get paid on time. So, as I said, so I do enjoy it.
Fair.
Yeah,
Right. That's
I'm
awesome.
going to start a Twitter campaign, and I'm going to tweet Joe Mad every day, and I'm going to be like, she needs to do a cover.
Aw, I would love it. Man, Joe Mad, I'm telling you. If I saw him, I would
be so excited for you. So.
Oh, I think I just have a heart attack on that day. I legit, like, if I got a message or an email from Joe Mad, my heart would give out. I literally like, I wouldn't believe it. I'd be in the hospital, and then my sisters would be like, well, what happened? I'm like, I saw an email. I don't think it's real. And then they show me the email again, and then I have a second heart attack in the hospital bed. Yeah, he's great. Like, and that's somebody too. Like, he's passionate at what he does. And he went from comics to now doing video games because he's really passionate about video, because Joe Mad is he's also a big character designer. So he likes doing that whole world building. And that's why when I was younger, I wanted to be a character designer, because I knew Joe Mad was like so passionate about it.
Yeah.
But now I enjoy what I do, so I can't complain.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Maybe one day I'll work for his company. Oh man, that'd be sweet too.
He did a Battle Chasers game too.
Yes,
Airship
I have
Syndicate
it.
did one. Yeah,
Oh, I have.
I love it.
When when that collector's edition came out, that
Yeah.
huge. Did you see it? How big it is? Oh, I was the first one hunting that thing down. I brought it home. You see me carrying this giant box. It's just the size of me. I have his statues. I have his art book. God, I swear.
Nice.
But that, you see, and that's the cool thing too. Like I tell a lot of people, like when you have a favorite artist, you should be inspired by them, but you shouldn't copy them or mimic them.
Yeah.
I'm a really big. That's why I tell people too, like look up to your artists, get inspired by how they live their life and what they do, but don't mimic them because they're already doing their own thing, and you need to do your own thing, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, like I used to tell a lot of people when I go to conventions, everybody wants to be like a Jim Lee. Because there's a lot of people who want to copy Jim Lee's work. They want to be the same shading, the same style, or they want to be like other artists. And I started noticing as I got older why I look up to Joe Mad and Humberto Ramos is because they wanted to be different. Because they wanted they wanted their own style. They wanted to, they wanted to give Spider-Man a new take on that.
He has. Humberto did probably my favorite Green Goblin design ever in the Peter Parker Spider-Man, and then they did a figure of it, and I was working at Toys R Us at the time, and I was like,
you snatched that, didn't you?
Yep. Oh yeah.
No, they I don't have Joe Mad. When they did Joe Mad's Batman, that black and white Batman, that's the first thing I ordered because it's just such a unique style. And even if you look at his Darksiders art book, you could just see like all the detail. That's why. So like my advice for anybody who's trying to get into comics or getting more into it, really do your own thing. Truly be inspired by these artists. You could look up to them, but do not take what they've already done. Don't piggyback. Isn't that what it's called? Don't piggyback on somebody else's success. You make yourself successful. I mean, that's what I try to do. I mean, I could talk highly about Joe Mad. I could talk highly about Joe Thompson and Humberto Ramos, but I make sure that they stay in their place, and I have to stay on my lane, so that my success could happen because they're already successful. So
So a guy that does a lot of inking for Ramos is going to be at our show.
Son of a
Wayne Foucher.
So you're just convincing me more to come to this show.
I'm like, so if you have a bunch of stuff signed by him, you can just be like, I'm just gonna get the pieces done, Wayne actually lives in PA. He's from actually like South Central PA. And he's a great friend of our show, and he comes like every year. He's a super nice guy. I bought a couple pieces from him of inked pages that he's done for stuff. So nothing of Ramos though. Like it's all like this. It was like, ooh, look at all these pages from the Sinestro book you did.
And then and look at the price for that too.
Yeah. And one year we had him and Mark Waid, but not Ramos. And I was like, damn it, we really need to finish this trilogy some year.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. But if travel constrictions weren't super crazy this year, I'd probably try for it. But there's always next year.
Oh, of course there is.
Or we can have you come, and then you can tell them how much fun it was, and then you can be our catalyst.
Bro, this could have been. We could have had something.
Could have hung out the whole weekend, bro. They make their own beer. It's great. So.
Right. So and it was funny because the last C2E2 that I went to, Humberto was there, and this is when I've already had all my tables and I was doing really well. And I remember I went up to him so cheerful, and I went up to him, and he's like, yes, and he's like, then I went up and I said, do you remember me? And he's like, a little bit. I was like, I saw you a couple of years ago. It's like, yes, I took your advice, Humberto. I got myself a C2E table, and now I'm working really hard. And he's like, congratulations, you're doing a great job. I was like, that's right. I just wanted to tell you it's because of you, man. So you know what? No, he kept telling me to learn Spanish because the conventions in Mexico are really like big. They're really massive too. Even Jill Thompson too. I know a little bit of Spanish and I'm like, I grew up in America.
Yeah.
But when he told me that, so there was a joke I had for my grandma, because for years she would tell me to learn Spanish, right? As a kid, yeah, grandma, whatever, I'll learn Spanish whenever I feel like it. Then I went to the convention and her brother was like, you need to learn Spanish. I was like, right away. Let me get that Rosetta Stone. Let me go. And I told my grandmother this, and she just laughed. She was like, so you listen to strangers, but not your family. I'm like, of course.
It's the punk rock attitude, right?
I was like, of course. Don't listen to nobody. And then you see your hero.
Nobody listens to their parents.
Right? Your hero tells you what to do. You're like 100%. Just say it and I'll do it. Drop $200. Of course, anything for you.
Yep.
I want to get one of his original artworks. Him and Joe Mad. But every time I try to get a Joe Mad piece, I see it on eBay, and they're always for a bid. And I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be a teeth battle. It's gonna go from 1,000 to 5,000 at one point, and it always does. So.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh,
that's
nice.
that's my life savings. If I ever buy a Joe Mad artwork, I'm just gonna let you know why I didn't go for a convention for a whole year. I bought this piece.
I thought you were gonna be like, next time I take a hiatus and have to work retail, it's to pay off that Joe Mad piece.
I took out a loan, a credit card debt, just to pay for this one artwork. And it's gonna be hanging right in the back.
As long as it's not American Express, they have like the craziest percentage rate. Just don't do them. You'll be fine.
Oh my God. I can't do credit cards anymore. After I paid off my debt, I get really oh, you want a credit card? I'm like, my life could be so much easier. Or I could get back to debt. Nah, I can't do that again.
Yeah. Jimmy Palmiotti says that every time he uses his credit card, he pays it off by the end of the week.
Wow. Damn, he's like my sister. My sister does the same thing too. Yeah, that's a good mentality. And I'm like, yeah, I can't pay it all off. I got stuff to pay off.
Right. I bet his credit score is amazing.
Right.
So
give me a little bit of that credit score. Over here.
Well, my wife learned the hard way how to fuck up your credit score when you take out a $10,000 credit card bill and never pay it ever. And then just wait years and years and years till it finally goes to the point where they just forgive it. And they just say, well, never, whatever.
Why did I not do that?
She went from like a 570 to like a 740, overnight, because she was paying all these other things,
right,
like bills and stuff. But that credit card finally, after like 7 or 8 years, finally disappeared. And we were like, oh, thank God. Now you can buy your own car and I don't have to co-sign for it. Rock and roll. So
not bad. My credit just went up.
Right. So Tim's like, I got bills.
No, I'm still
$30,000 in debt.
I thought I had COVID. I went and got tested today. I don't.
Oh,
so
that's good.
Right. Yay! Good job.
Yeah, no COVID.
Yeah.
It's like fire over here in Chicago, so everybody's getting it.
Yeah, it is here too. Yeah, it's
Where Pittsburgh actually is, the county that Pittsburgh is in, is actually per capita one of the better counties in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But all the counties around it where the
else.
people actually live is like awful.
Oh, you know what? I would see that. We're the same thing in Chicago. So Chicago's a very liberal state. Well, not state. It's a city.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a liberal city. Everybody else outside of Chicago, well, they hate us. So
yeah, that's pretty much Pittsburgh. Yeah.
They're all red over there. So I mean,
you got a lake, we got rivers, basically the same.
Of course, except we got deep dish pizza, and you have
Permani Brothers.
Okay, there we go.
Do you know what that is?
Which, if you have no idea what that is, we will hook you up when you get here.
What? Okay,
no,
what
it's the worst. It's the worst. It's
literally okay. So
okay,
it's a homemade loaf of bread slice that's like yay big, right?
Okay.
And then it's got whatever meat you want to put on there, and then it'll have, you can get onions, you can get some other stuff, but then it has coleslaw and fries on
French fries,
and you can get egg on it as well, like a fried egg. It is amazing if you get the right ones, because like I'm like a capicola and cheese guy. I don't like the one that's just called the Pittsburgher.
Okay.
Like, so there's a couple different ones that does that, but that's like Pittsburgh's food claim to fame. That and Heinz ketchup, because the
I'll
Heinz
stick with ketchup. I'm just gonna have ketchup all day.
The
Just
whole Heinz
packets.
family
Okay.
was here.
Oh.
The old factories are actually converted into apartments now, and coincidentally are right across the river from the convention center. So
What?
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
It sounds safe. I like coleslaw a lot, so I mean.
Oh, it's a good time. And the original Permanis is like 4 blocks down the street from the convention center. And it's got like 50 or 70 years worth of grease on that sucker. It is.
Oh man, that's just tasty.
It is greasy spoon. It is.
My arteries are already like shaking. They're like,
those are the kind of places I look for when I go to Chicago. Like that kind of.
Oh,
you know.
Definitely. You have to always get the mild sauce. Get everything like. Big.
What was the hot dog place Daniel was ordering from him when he was on? We were doing the show with Dan, and he's like, "Oh, hold on one second. You guys don't mind?" He's like, and he's so funny because like I'll watch his YouTube show where he's drawing, and he's such a character, like the way he does. He's like, hold on, I'll be right back, and then you'll just hear him in the distance, and he'll be like, "This is the lamest show. You guys probably never gonna watch this again." And then he comes back and he's sketching. But we were in the middle of the show, and he goes, "You guys don't mind if, like, I'm gonna order some hot dogs. Just give me 1 second, real quick." ordering hot dogs right in the middle of it. It was awesome.
Oh, it's the best. I mean, half of the time, and one bad thing about a lot of Chicagoans, like it'll be like 12 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're like, "Oh, we gotta have something greasy out of nowhere." You're just like, there's taco places here, pizza places here. I mean, one time our roommates, we were like, we want Portillo's cake. We went to go get a Portillo's cake, and we're just scarfing down on this chocolate cake, like, oh, it's great. Yeah, pizzas. That's the cool thing about Chicago. We're a bunch of foodies, so there's food everywhere.
Yep.
You could be
from. That's why I love going there.
Any part of the world, and there's probably a restaurant for it. So, I mean, yeah, it's good. I am a big foodie fan. I love foods. I haven't been eating lately. Just like I said, I've been working a lot, so I have a very bad tendency of not like eating one meal a day. And I'll even tell myself, like, did I eat? Nah. I'll go back to work. Yeah, it's like, so it's bad. It's a really bad habit of mine. So I was like, I think when I moved here too, I know I lost some weight because I was like, oh, I haven't been eating.
Jeez.
Like, too much on these covers. I don't even know if I'm having proper meals or times. I don't even know the time zone of where I am too.
I will be right back, guys. I'll let you keep talking for a few more minutes.
Gotcha.
All right.
What's up, Tim?
I'm always bad when he leaves, but when he's here, I'm like, I'll just keep talking. But anyways, so you said you were PlayStation. You played PlayStation 3. You're playing any of the
TF2. Well, I played Half-Life, but I was really big on Team Fortress 2. Oh my god, I love Team Fortress.
Yeah.
That was my addiction in high school. And you know how they have the ranking grid?
Yeah.
And it goes like by 3 or 4 levels. I remember my New Year's resolution goal was to get to number 1. And did I work my ass off to get to number 1, my friend? I have a picture of myself pointing at the screen where you could see my name, and I'm holding the little video game because I was a dorky teen. I was like, that's right. I finally made it to number 1. It didn't last very long because you know how people are very competitive. So like within the next 20 minutes, I became like ranked number like 10. I was like, damn it.
Yeah. Well, now it's like, how much do you pay to win? You know, like that's all gone. It's like, oh, I'm not first place. Like, well, if I put $50 into it, maybe I can be first place.
Right.
You know?
Oh, of course. And people pay other people to like, play in their accounts. And the world of video games has come so far. I mean, it's just
my
insane.
brother used to do that. He played WoW a lot, and he stopped. But like people would be like, "Oh man, will you get my guy up to this level?" And he would get on, he'd log on their account, and they would pay him, and he would just grind out other people's characters for him.
Oh, nice. Well, it's crazy too how people like, right? So like my one of my friends in high school at the time, she would amp up these characters on just single accounts, and she'd just sell off the character. It was just really crazy. I was just like, that was how she was making. She was hustling on the side in high school. She just make a bunch of characters. So I was like, yeah, it's just, and now everything. Because before we used to get what is it called? Codes. What were they? Pre-order codes or DLCs. They used to give it to us for free. Remember? It's just every PlayStation 2 game, even some PS3s. Oh, here's your DLC. That comes with that. That's included. The update comes
if you pre-ordered it. Yeah, if you pre-ordered it, you got it.
And now it's
you
just
gotta
like
pre-order and pay $15 more.
And then you got to pay a battle pass, and you got to get like you either got your silver package or your gold package, your platinum package.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pay this gun, you got to pay $20. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, it's an addiction. It really is. I can see why people are just like where their money goes. So I can't say nothing though. I used to work at GameStop, and my whole check would like go straight to video game.
Yeah.
We used to get like I think we got like 15 or 20% off. So that would take the tax money. So, and I'm a collector, as you can see on my figurines and my video games. So I'm a big collector of video games. So whenever they'd be like, oh, here's the video game, but here's the collector's edition for $100 more, you could get the collector's edition with the statue. And I'm like, well, $100 more. And Illinois taxes are always high. I think it's like 10%. So I'm buying these collector's editions that are like 140, 150. And then you got my GameStop discount, and it just takes away the taxes. And I'm like, woo, save myself 20 bucks.
Do you have a like a favorite franchise that you like to collect?
That is so well. What is it? What do I like to collect? At first it was BioShock. I would say that that was my main one. BioShock was one. I have 1 through 3, of course, and they were all the collector's editions. Then Kingdom Hearts was another one too. Street Fighter was also really big. I love Street Fighter. And God, this is a lot. Darksiders. What else do I got? Batman. The Batman series was actually really good.
Oh, I love that series. It was fantastic. The Darksiders was great until was it THQ?
Yeah.
Like they sold the license off, and then they made that third one, which wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And then Joe got the license back, and they did the new one, which was
that Switch version, or no, it's also on the PS4 too.
Yeah, it was like a top-down one. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
That was with Strider, I think. There was Statue up there too. Yeah, there's just so. See, I grew up in the time where the Game Boy came out. But when as I got older, Game Boy Color was in. So all my cousins were the spoiled cousins. So they were like, they went up to mom and dad, and they're like, yeah, can I get an Atari? Can I get the Nintendo 64? Every Christmas they got that system. And like I said, my parents were rich. So I remember going over my cousin's house and just watching them. And they're the mean cousins when they're like, oh, can I play next? And they're like, no. Or they give you a control and they don't connect it. And,
I used to do that all the time to my cousins. And my younger sister, I was like, oh, yeah, sure, you can play this one. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, it's all you. It's a swing.
Oh, yeah, you're that second character.
How good you're doing.
Right? Why can't I change the color or the car? Oh, it's automatic. They picked it for me. Because they're the third control. Well, you know what? And that's the thing. I became like that too once I got my first system, and then I started buying more systems and stuff like that too. My first system was a Game Boy Color. It was a teal one. My aunt got it for me, and at the time, I was surprised she gave it. Now that I think about it, because the Game Boy Color came out, she got it for me on that year. So what Game Boys were like $100, I think.
Yeah,
120 something. And she gave that to me for Christmas. So I opened up my Christmas gift, and it was a Game Boy Color. I was like, oh, I got that. Nice. And then from there, I just started collecting systems, because I have a Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, GameCube, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Slim. It just goes up. We just kept buying systems over and over. And recently we just got the Xbox. My sister wanted one, even though I was like, no, I'm a Sony fan. We don't do Microsoft over here.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. I don't either. Not in my house. Yeah.
Not black and green. It was always black and blue. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
My first one was a Nintendo, and I just we didn't have a lot of money growing up either, so it was really neat that we got that. And I remember going to school, and this girl at school was like, "Yeah, Santa's not real," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I told my mom this story when I came home, and she was so embarrassed. I said, "What do you mean Santa's not real?" I said, "I got a Nintendo for Christmas, and my family's poor. So how do you explain that?"
The Christmas miracle, you.
My mom's like, "Don't tell people we're poor."
I was
That's
the same
so
boat.
funny.
Like I got a Nintendo, and I grew up on a dairy farm. So what does that tell you?
You
Yeah.
see, there is a Santa. He heard
That's right.
My first Game Boy though was the original Game Boy, and the store I bought it in was a KB Toys, and I 20 years later ended up managing that KB Toys.
My
So
goodness.
until the company shut down, and then I started working for this company, and now I'm here.
All right. Yeah, I was like, well, I guess I'm on this one, right? No,
Yeah.
It was great. You know what? And I loved Toys R Us when I was a kid. Because Toys R Us had like the best display of their video games. Like they would have the screens, and then you would like the demo controls, and like
that was the department I worked in. It was the R Zone, they called it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, it was horrible too, because then you would have like the little boys who'd be like, "What do you want?" And like, "Yeah, when you're done, it's my turn." And they're like, "No."
Yeah.
And you would just wait behind them. Oh, I remember I would wait because I grew up as a tomboy, so you know, it was always battling with the little boys. They would be like, "Girls don't like this." I'm like, "You don't know what girls like. I like this." But my favorite was that, like, whenever the kids would be like mean about like sharing the video games, and then you hear their mom say, "Come on, we're leaving," and then you just look at them like, "That's right. You gotta go. Give me your spot."
That's how I played the whole first the Super Mario World on
really?
SNES. We would go to Kmart all the time. I'd be like, "Mom, don't you gotta go to Kmart for something? I think you have to go to Kmart." Just go to Kmart and just run right back in there and just start playing.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. After my Game Boy Color, my dad got us a Super Nintendo. Not even the Nintendo 64. He just got us a Super Nintendo. And I used to have Donkey Kong. I was really a big fan of Primal Rage. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a. I wish they could do a remake of that. Because what kid would not like a bunch of dinosaurs fighting each other?
Yeah.
That was so freaking awesome. You know? And then you had the intro was like that jungle thing when you heard that. It was great.
Yep.
I loved it. These dinosaurs were seen as gods, and they were like they're battling for their territory. And I got to play number 2 at Galloping Ghost because they had it over there. And that wasn't even released that much. They only made a few copies of that one. Yeah, that was great. What's another game that I played too? It's the one where you turn into an animal. What is that one?
Oh,
Bloody Roar?
That might have been one. I'm thinking of
Killer Instinct.
It's something Beast.
Alter Beast.
Alter Beast.
I played that one.
Yeah.
Alter Beast was good. Bloody Roar was also really good. It's a good fighting game. They should make a remake of that one too. Killer Instinct is, of course, it's a classic. Everybody played Killer Instinct. I love fighting games. I grew up with tons of fighting games because my kind of characters, it's like I said, you heard me. I like grappler characters. So everybody would always pick those little fast like characters that would like punch. Then you see me with this giant character, and they would hate picking those characters because they're so slow. But I like them because one, their health bar was extremely like huge, and if you punch them, they get like this little bit. And all you do is you need one good grab. They would grab the character and like slam them on the ground, and you saw their health bar like go like halfway, and they're like, "Damn it, and you're like, come here, just gonna grab you real quick.
Come
Or
back
they-
here.
Or like that one punch. Oh god,
Yep.
that I love
Get the one good punch in.
yeah, I love, and I just got my sister into King of Fighters because that was also that was a really good game too. Because she was into Street Fighter, and then I told her, no, you gotta try King of Fighters because their characters are more flashy in a sense. They're more stylized. So and they have good characters too. So I'm waiting for the new one to come out, the 3D version of that one. But yes, trying to think of all kinds of video games. I played a lot of video games, and that's another thing too. I was so happy I changed. I did everything because when I was working in retail, I stopped playing video games for years. I stopped playing video games because I was always so tired. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sleep. The moment I went into comic books and I had some free time, I was like, and then I turned on my PlayStation. I was like, I can actually play video games. Nobody's gonna tell me get off. You gotta go to work. I was like,
Yeah.
So, and then I got my sister build this PC because she's a PC player. And then I started playing PC. I was like, oh, I can see why everybody gets into PC now. Okay, I like this. The graphics, the details, it's looking nice.
Yeah.
If you could see her computer, it's the one that lights up too. So there's like lots of little lights everywhere.
Oh yeah, all
And
my
it moves
PC
around.
gamer friends have that kind of stuff.
She has this right now. So I remember I'm just looking at her like, wow, this is such a cute little toy. I like it. I like this and that. Let me just me playing Overwatch or once again Team Fortress or Genshin and it's starting to become an addiction. But it's funny, I had to stop myself from playing video games because I can get it hours.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where like I want to throw up or my eyes hurt, and I'm like, just a few more hours. It's okay. I mean, I only need like 2 hours of sleep. It was like, that's another thing too. I want to get back to doing fan art. I enjoy video games and comic books and manga, and I miss doing fan art of those characters or doing them in my own style. I mean, granted, I get paid to do comic books, but I was like, no, if ever somebody commissioned me to do like cool video game characters, I'd love that too. Did you hear that, guys? Commissioned me to do some cool video.
I will. I'm going to.
Oh yeah.
Think
like a Big Daddy. Come on, somebody just say Big Daddy. Or like something or more. Oh, I did a Mortal Kombat one. I did I didn't do the Scorpio. Who did it? Sub-Zero. I did Sub-Zero. He had like a skull and like all the invertebrate, like all the spine. I was like, yeah, that's good. I even went to a Mortal Kombat convention they had here in Chicago. They had, because you know
they
how
have a Mortal Kombat convention.
Well, they did. I don't know if they're still doing it, but because you know Mortal Kombat was created here in Chicago, right?
Yep.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Actually, it was where it was created.
It's created in Chicago, and a lot of the actors, you know, who played all the characters are, some of them still live in Chicago or they're in other states, but they had them all come. And who did I had? Not Tim. What was his name? Not Timberwolf. Was Nightwolf? I think it is Nightwolf. I think so. The native looking one. I'm horrible now. Actually, let me look him up before I destroy his name. Let's see. Mortal Kombat. Nightwolf. I think that's him. Yeah, it is Nightwolf. So I saw the original actor. He was across from me, and I couldn't believe it. So I started sketching him out, and I gave him a picture of him, and then he gave me an autograph of himself. I was like, oh, that's great. But all of them were there. It was really cool to see all of them. The creator was there too. So yeah, I wish they brought that back. A lot of people liked it. They had like all the Mortal Kombat arcade systems there too. Have you guys been to Galloping Ghost?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So if you ever come back to Chicago, it's not in Chicago, it's like in the suburb area, but it is the largest arcade area in the whole United States.
Holy shit.
They have like over 200, 300. I'm probably underestimating it. You walk in there, it is literally aisles and aisles of arcade systems. You pay.
I just need Miss Pac-Man. That's all I need is Miss Pac-Man.
They have like over 5 different versions of Pac-Man. They have everything. I'm not lying to you. They collect.
I'll be over at the Kiss pinball machine. You can just leave me there.
Oh man, look it up. It's just called Galloping Ghost. They've gotten a couple of awards too for having. They have systems there from the beginning. I'm not lying to you.
Wow.
That's why I said like
That's
Primal
awesome.
Rage. Primal Rage didn't come out. It only came out in an arcade system, and they only made a few, and all of them were really defaults. They won't turn on, but they have one that actually turns on and you can play it. So they have some rare arcade games there, but I recommend it. It's only like $20-$30, but you get to be there all day.
We're gonna have to do a whole nother show where we just talk video games. So
I can talk, man.
I'd be all right with that.
We'll have you back on, and we'll do a whole other show. We'll talk video games.
Maybe we'll do it even crazier, and we'll actually utilize. We'll actually utilize our Twitch channel that we never use because I have one for this, and we'll actually like MMO something on our PlayStations, and it'll just be like an hour long of us like beating the hell out of each other. It'll be great.
If you ever want to play video games, I'm always down to play video games. But no, I like I said, I always tell people who come to Chicago, go to Galloping Ghost. If you're a big video game fan, you're gonna be like a kid at the candy store because you don't know what game you want to play because there's just so many. It's aisles and aisles of arcade systems. So yeah, they have even an arm wrestling one. I didn't even know they created that. You literally put your hand like this, and it's.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Wow.
Yeah,
they have it there too. They have
that's awesome.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have the Batman. They have Spider-Man. They have all the DC and Marvel arcade systems there too. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
I just put a bunch of those on my. I modded my Super Nintendo Classic to have a bunch of those games on it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
My dad at one time was making mini arcade systems. He was actually using that, and he gave me one of his, but he put like they're called cherry microchips or something. It has over like 300 video games in there. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Like a Raspberry Pi almost.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they're called. The raspberries. Yeah, it's like cherry something. Yeah, he started making little tiny arcade systems and start selling them off here and there. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, that's why it always gets to me when my dad's like bunch of nerds, and I'm looking at him like, what the hell are you talking? You made an arcade system. Who's making an arcade system? Yeah, that's
well, I really appreciate you being on. It was a lot of fun talking to you. So
well,
absolutely,
I'm grateful. Thank you for having me on, and it's great to meet you both. Hopefully in the future we can meet each other even more personally.
Yeah, we'll stay on after we shut off the broadcast, and we'll talk about that possibility.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, bye-bye. Click. Oh yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
Especially Zoe from Seattle. Thanks for watching.
I'll talk to you. We're gonna play video games later on, so I'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, I think that comment was made.
Nice.
So,
all right.
So thanks everybody, and we'll.
In the next couple weeks, we're gonna have the Pittsburgh Avengers on, just so you guys know.
Oh, nice.
Talk about cosplay, and it's gonna be a good time. We also have a cosplay karaoke coming up in February. It is duets down at the Hard Rock, so make sure you check out the dates for that as soon as we post them. But on that, we'll see everybody next week. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Maria, for coming on. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So.